Hello again, everybody. Second Attack is here with my WWE Raw review for tonight, Monday, March the 16th, 2015. 2 weeks away to WrestleMania tonight from Des Moines, Iowa. Now, tonight's Raw, decent, with some decent action tonight, including a very decent Divas match. I think WWE's on the right track to finally giving Divas some time in the ring. And a very interesting segment to end Raw tonight, as you would see by my subtitle of tonight's review. And that subtitle would be the theme of the night, as we would begin with the Orton and Seth Rollins would begin Raw tonight. Now, of course, we saw Orton finally doing what I was thinking and everyone thought was going to happen eventually. Orton going to play the Authority like a fool and then turn on him at the right time, which he did last week against Seth Rollins on Raw. With all the Authority laid out, he and the Big Show kicked out early in the evening. JJ security sent out by Seth Rollins. Seth was left for the picking for Orton to beat him up all around the arena, leading to the RKO on the table. Tables were turned this week, as you'll see by the subtitle. Seth was going to turn the tables on Orton with setting himself up. As Seth Rollins heard that Orton was going to challenge him for a match at WrestleMania, which we all knew was going to lead to this whole situation. So Rollins was like, yeah, Orton, I'll accept your challenge at Mania on one condition. You accept my challenge for a match tonight against me in the main event of Raw. And Orton said, Rollins, I don't care what you say. I will accept your challenge for tonight because I will get my hands on you tonight and at WrestleMania. And I'm going to make you my bitch. And if the Authority wants to come and beat me up, fine. And it looked like the Authority may not be on Rollins' side after all. As we would see throughout the evening, we would see Rollins' little ego get in the way of the Authority members. He got into a little argument with Kane and Big Show, letting them hear his side of the story, blah, 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 blah. And Kane and Big Show was like, Rollins, your ego got so big, since you got that case, you're a spoiled brat. Orton was right about here. They even apologized to him, too. They had all the Authority in the ring. They apologized to Rollins for what happened last week. They warned him, too. They warned him that Orton was non-trustworthy. And Rollins fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker. He didn't see the signs. But this time it was Seth, like I said, turning tables, as you said by the description. They had even Kane and Big Show, and they're like, fuck you, Seth, basically. We're not going to be in your corner tonight. You're by yourself tonight. Well, at the time, he had James and security by his side. And he had a segment involving him and Noble, slapping Noble across the head. And Noble's like, I told you about Orton, you didn't trust me. And then bitch slap, and then he's like, I'm not fired, I quit. And then Mercury, who's like, become like the silent mime in this relationship, he just shrugged. And he even Triple H and Stephanie badmouthed him. But as we will all see, this was all part of a master plan to screw with Orton, but it would backfire in everybody's face. But let's kick off the action of that segment involving AJ with Brains in her corner taking on Nikki Bella. Of course, non-title. We got the tag team match at Mania with these four women. They got into a little physical altercation at SmackDown last week. Of course, I could see SmackDown live taping from Detroit. Of course, my SmackDown live taping report is on this channel, so check that out. But then tonight you had all four at ringside with AJ against Paige, AJ against Nikki. Now, I was at the SmackDown taping last week, and they had a main event taping match between Naomi and Nikki. It was a very long match, and very good actually. I think that he's finally giving the main roster divas enough time to do the wrestling, like they do on NXT. Notice how give divas a chance movement is actually getting some motion. And tonight's match against AJ and Nikki was pretty good. Pretty good. I think divas matches may finally get some respect around the main roster now. You know, NXT's divas are getting all the praise for the very long athletic matches and competitive matches. And now I think that main roster divas may finally step up their game because they're allowed to by the company to step up and have some great wrestling matches. And it actually wasn't that bad of a match. They're on the right track. Because I saw Naomi and Nikki, and even though it wasn't as good as NXT match as I said, but it was on the right track. There was enough time to wrestle, and it was actually a pretty good match. Same with this match between AJ and Nikki. Nikki's not one of the best wrestlers in the world, but yeah, they did well in this match. So I think AJ carried the match, though. I think it's evident that AJ carried the match. But Nikki did well too in this match. AJ had a couple of submission attempts. I think she had a submission attempt for the Black Widow. Kind of a half-assed version of it, but still. There's some great action in there. No hair punches, great wrestling moves, drop kicks and all that. Great action for these two women. Instead of calling these Divas matches on the main roster bathroom breaks, crowd was actually interested tonight. And then as AJ was on a wall, Paige and Brie, who were at ringside, they got into a little brawl. And with that distraction, AJ got distracted by that, and Nikki capitalized on that distraction by nailing her to set her up for the rack attack in the 1-2-3 victory for Nikki Bella. After losing to Naomi in main event, in non-title match on the main event, which I saw taped, like I said, during a SmackDown taping, Nikki got the last word tonight as she stood tall against AJ. But the Bellas have the last word when it comes to their tag team match at WrestleMania against Paige and AJ. We shall see. Now, we had a couple SmackDown rematches tonight. First SmackDown rematch was Ryback against Miz. This time, Mizdow was in Miz's corner. Now, Mizdow was relegated to the back last week, as Miz said he was going to beat Ryback all by himself without any help from Mizdow at all. But we can see tonight, with or without Mizdow, Miz still gets the same results. A loss against Ryback. And even he was at ringside getting pummeled by Ryback in an okay little matchup. Mizdow just stood by and just let Ryback beat the crap out of Miz. Kind of a squash like last week's match on SmackDown. Little offense by Miz. Then Ryback took him out to the outside. That's when Mizdow kind of distracted Miz and didn't even help him. Just saw him get destroyed by the meat hook and the shell shock. And 1-2-3 victory for Ryback. Once again beating Miz for the second time in less than a week. Of course, these two will be in the Under the Giant Battle Royal along with Mizdow. And Miz kind of had a little backstage ultimatum with Mizdow to say that if Mizdow doesn't help Miz, he's fired. Mizdow, even though he didn't help, he tried to make amends with Miz by masking him down with his jacket. He was kind of fanning him, trying to get Miz back up. But then Miz got back up. Damn! Skull Crusher finale on Mizdow. I think we can finally say that these two are finally broken up. We've been waiting for this breakup for a while to see Mizdow finally be free of his job as Miz's anything, whether it's a stunt double or personal assistant. We've been waiting for this turn for a while. It's going to lead up to a match at Mania, the match being the Under the Giant Battle Royal, which both these guys are in. So I expect a big moment to happen between these two guys, a big confrontation to happen during the Under the Giant Battle Royal. Now on to our next segment, which was a contract signing for the United States Championship match, John Cena against Rusev. Now, we saw Rusev unaccompanied by Lana tonight. And then you had fans chanting, "We want Lana," or "Where is Lana?" Well, for people who follow wrestling, like I do, and go to all the smart wrestling sites on the internet, like WrestleZone and all that, Lana is shooting a movie with Edge right now. A WWE Studios film, obviously. It'll be in theaters one day and then be in Walmart for $5 the next day. That's what most WWE Studios films end up being. Unless they're like The Call or that movie with Colin Farrell that came out last year. Anyway, they were setting up storyline-wise with Lana breaking up with Rusev because Lana was the one that agreed to the match, not Rusev. And that's what happened. This lawyer came out who even the commentators made fun of his fake Washington accent. He's like, Rusev. And he did not agree to the match unless I'm in Exhibit A, Exhibit B. He's like, you're not going to sign this contract, basically. And Cena was already fired up. He had a little promo. Now, this is a different contract signing than the traditional, predictable contract signings. For one thing, each guy signed their contract separately. Like, Cena came out first and signed, then Rusev came out. usually both guys would come out and sign at the same time. Well, one guy would sign, the other guy would sign. But then this time, Cena came out first to sign. And Rusev was going to sign, but he had his little lawyer with his little weird ass Elton John sunglasses on. They look like Elton John sunglasses from the 70s. Hey, the 70s called. They want those glasses back. Anyway, I was laughing more because the announcers were making fun of that announcer guy too. He's like, Cena, if you're going to control your little animalistic rays, Rusev will accept the match as long as you let him finish his statement. And he had a statement saying, Americans are inferiors. And Cena's like, shut up. Look like we're going to have a brawl. Like what normally would happen during a traditional, predictable WWE contract signing. And I did like Rusev is like, oh, say, can you see this beautiful country? Also proudly you hail. And it's ugly, like kind of a parody of Star Spangled Banner, kind of a funny way. And you got what all over the place. Hey, it was Austin 316 Day, so you had to have something Austin related. Because it was 316 Day. So then, Rusev, who was wearing a suit by the way, Cena was in war gear, but Rusev was in a suit. He literally, pardon the pun, turned the tables on John Cena, turned the table over him, and went off without any physical confrontation like they would normally be doing a traditional WWE contract signing. The only other time I saw a Cena contract signing that did not involve any physical confrontation was his contract signing with Brock Lesnar back in 2012 for Extreme Rules. And I was actually at that wall that night during that contract signing in April of 2012 at the Joe. And that taping reports on here too on this channel. That was the last event I went to until SmackDown last week. Because Lesnar ran off without any confrontation with Cena. Once again tonight during this contract signing, we didn't see any physical confrontation between Cena and Rusev. But now it's in writing. As Cena held that contract up to say, Rusev, you signed your death warrant basically, as Rusev will take on John Cena for the U.S. Championship at Mania, and possibly see Rusev's undefeated streak come to an end to Super Cena. You know what I mean? It could do interesting to see Cena with a mid-card title, but I hope Rusev doesn't lose momentum. I see a lot of guys lose to Cena and lose their momentum. Although some guys are regaining their momentum after losing to Cena, like with Bray Wyatt, like Davey Mizdow. So let's see what happens with Rusev at the Mania. Now on to our next matchup. A Raw rematch from last week. As a New Day took on Cesaro and Tyson Kidd with Los Matadors at ringside. We had an 8-man tag last week involving these 4 teams, and we were thinking that this is all going to set up for a Fatal 4-Way tag team title match at WrestleMania. But now that's in jeopardy because Jimmy Uso got injured during the 8-man tag last week. I was at that taping, of course, and I did not remember seeing how the Jay got injured. They don't know the severity of the injury, but it will be evaluated again this week. So if that injury is more severe than it looks, that means we may not have a Fatal 4-Way tag team title match or any tag team title match at all in Mania. We shall see depending on the condition of the Usos. That's what we didn't see him this week. So Los Matadores take in the match between New Day and Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, trying to get redemption after getting pinned by the New Day last week. And of course, during the 8-man tag on SmackDown, you saw the blind tag problems between both Los Matadores and Cesaro and Tyson Kidd. So decent fun tag team matchup. We even saw Cesaro doing a swing today. And unlike last week, Natalya did not distract. She did not distract Tyson again this week like last week in the match against New Day. So, New Day still getting no reaction at all. Needs to go here. So then, after he got the big swing, little miscommunication, Cesaro and Kidd with blind tagging and stuff. Because I think Tyson Kidd got tagged and the referee saw it, but Cesaro didn't see it. And then Kofi got incoming with his big moves. And then the referee got distracted a little bit after Biggie got tagged in again. And Kofi came in the Trump in Paradise on Tyson Kidd, but then Cesaro came in with the referee not looking, nailed the uppercut to Kofi, and Tyson getting the roll up 1-2-3 victory, getting revenge after getting pinned last week by the New Day, pinning the New Day this time in this match tonight. So there you go. And then we saw a little confrontation between Matadors and New Day. And we have the 6 interspecies match on SmackDown Thursday. As Los Matadors, which team up with El Torito against Tyson Kidd, Cesar, and Natalia. That's why it's called interspecies. And we have a woman and a bull. It's going to be silly and stupid. Now, we had 2 segments involving Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman, the advocate for the WWE Champion. Brock Lesnar was not on Raw again this week. But Lesnar did a promo about kind of saying his future, saying that no matter if I'm in the company after Mania or out of the company and in UFC, not mentioning UFC though, of course, there's all these rumors about Lesnar leaving UFC, leaving WWE to go back to UFC, and maybe going out with the belt. Kind of like what CM Punk tried to do 4 years ago, when Punk had that whole storyline like, I'm going to leave the company with the WWE title and defend it in other companies, which he never did. But Lesnar could actually do that. It could be interesting to see Brock Lesnar walk on UFC, go back to UFC with the WWE title, and unify the WWE and UFC titles. And with Punk and UFC now, it'd be more intriguing to see that actually happen. The Brock's promo was very intriguing. And we can see why Paul Heyman's the perfect mouthpiece for him, but still, Brock, let me say this, Brock Lesnar's promo was better than any Roman Reigns promo in the last 2 years. I'm sorry, but it's true. Now, nothing against Roman Reigns, but that's his only flaw, is his speaking skills. But Brock Lesnar had no point playing saying, I'm going to fuck up Roman Reigns at Mania. I'm going to give him a prison beating. Well, that's what Heyman said. When he came out, later on in the evening after Lesnar's video promo, it was kind of weird to see Lesnar say fuck like that. It was bleeped though. And then we saw Heyman come out with another great promo tonight. And like the last couple weeks, the theme of the last couple weeks is seeing Paul Heyman's mic go off. He's saying that basically, Roman Reigns, you are a badass. You are a breakout star, and now Brock Lesnar's going to destroy you at Mania. And you're going to shame your family by not winning the title. You're going to disgrace your family name. Because, of course, he's Samoan. He's part of the Anoa'i family. His father is Sika, one of the Samoans. And Heyman's like, you can't do it. You can't beat Brock Lesnar. Well, you can. Has been a phrase that's been tossed around when it involves Reigns at Mania. It doesn't like people saying that he can't. Like Mark Henry last week on SmackDown when he returned. He got speared through the barricade. And Roman came out with a new shirt that says, I can and I will. So the Reigns came out. Like I said, the only big flaw besides his, lack of athleticism is the fact that he has not the best mic skills in the world. He's trying to work on it, but not too much. And he's like, I'm not in it for love, like you said, Heyman. Because Heyman said, Brock Lesnar's not going to WrestleMania for love. He's going to WrestleMania for war. And that's what Reigns said. I don't expect a fairy tale ending for me. I expect a fight. I expect a war. And I will walk out of Mania the WWE Heavyweight Champion. Believe that. And they get cashed in on by Rollins. That's what I'm thinking. I've been predicting that since the Royal Rumble. That Rollins is going to cash in on Rollins. Cashing in on Reigns. Then we had 2 little no-nonsense matches that should not have been happening. With Big Show against Eric Rowan. It never really happened. It was more like a segment. It was a stupid, unnecessary segment. It's wasted time. As Big Show and Rowan fought before the referee rung the bell. Big Show knocked him out. And then they had an elbow on the top rope. That was it. Kind of stupid segment. But then we had ourselves a little mini battle royal to heat up for the Under the Giant Battle Royal. Mark Henry came out. Steaming for what happened with him and Reigns last week on SmackDown. Eliminating everybody left and right. Leading up to him and Big Show being the last 2 guys. Actually, him and Kane being the last 2 guys. Because Big Show just wrestled. Axelmania, because Axel was standing outside, and then he got back in. Looked like he was going to steal the victory after these 2 guys beat each other up. And the fans were actually cheering for him. Dewey got eliminated, and Kane got eliminated. Mark Henry, the last one standing, in this little short Battle Royal, which could lead up to Mark Henry winning the Battle Royal at Mania. As of right now, I think we got like 15 guys in the Battle Royal. Maybe Sheamus will be in if he returns before Mania. Maybe return after, who knows. But that Battle Royal will feature a whole lot of guys. So we'll see who else gets named as we head towards WrestleMania. So if I am correct, after the segment involving Woman and them guys, it was the 6-man tag match. Another rematch was SmackDown. And it was a great main event last week on SmackDown. Really good main event that I saw live. It was Dolph Ziggler, Dean Ambrose, Daniel Bryan taking on Bethany Barrett, Stardust, and Eric Warren, former tag team partner Luke Harper, as R-Truth stood at ringside with the IC title belt attached on his back. So he walked out with it on SmackDown last week. And at the end of SmackDown last week, they had that segment involving Ambrose and Ziggler calling D. Bryant's turn. I was hoping that wasn't going to trend much. Well, they had a sign. A guy brought a sign that says hashtag your turn. So it's catching on. Sadly, that the whole D. Bryant's turn thing's catching on after SmackDown. And I think the match was not as fun as not as good as the match on SmackDown, but still pretty fun 6-man tag nonetheless. Especially the last 3 minutes were intense. Slow build. His D back on a little bit, doing the sailboat of Stardust. And also we had all of these tags and stuff with all the people fighting outside. What was that? An identical spot from last week when all 3 guys on SmackDown wanted to fly. Only D. Bryan Ambrose flew, and Ziggler got sidelined with a kick from Harper. That happened kind of this week with Dean Ambrose and D. Bryan outside. Harper kicked the hell out of Ziggler, and Ziggler kicked out with no one to help him though. But then last, like I said, 5 minutes from all hell was breaking loose. Ambrose was coming in with Ambrose got the hot tag from Ziggler. Ambrose got with a House of Fire, kicking everybody's ass, delivering a big move on the Stardust. And then everyone got in, like Harper gave him a big kick. And then Ziggler was going to super kick Harper, but then Harper dug, he super kicked Daniel Bryan instead. But then he super kicked Stardust. And then he was setting up Wasteland onto Dolph Ziggler. And he tossed him out to the crowd. But Ambrose got back up. And he ducked the bullhammer after Wasteland tossed on Ziggler to the outside. Like I said, Dolph got tossed out. And Ambrose ducked the bullhammer attempt. Set up Dirty Deeds. And the 1-2-3 victory for Dean Ambrose. Beating the IC champion once again. This time in a tag team match, not on a title. Really fun ending to the match. Not just the ending to the match itself, but after the match. Then Harper came in, beat down Ambrose. And then everyone was brawling. R-Truth was trying to run out with the belt. He was chased through the crowd. And then even D-Bar had the belt at one point. And Ziggler and D-Bar, everyone was brawling. And then Bad News Bear came in, forehammering everybody in its path. And finally reclaiming his belt that has been playing hot potato. Everyone's been playing hot potato with the IC Championship. And now Bad News Barrett, the rightful champion, is once again the rightful owner of that championship. Even bullhammered R-Truth for starting a whole mess that kind of was started by Ambrose stealing the belt. And that led to a domino effect of everyone stealing the IC belt. But now Barrett once again stood tall with the IC Championship belt across his shoulder. So then on to our last match, our scheduled main event. Seth Rollins against Randy Orton. We saw Seth Rollins it looked like Seth was going to be left all alone by the Authority. And I love the segment with Triple H. When Seth was like, you're too busy playing hide and seek with Sting. And it was like a little segment. And it looked like Seth was going to work out high and dry because of pissing off the Authority. But in the back of my mind, I was like, Seth's going to set up Orton. Orton set him up. Orton kind of had a trick up his sleeve with Seth. He was pretending to be on the Authority side, then set him up for the ultimate turn. And I think that's what Seth Rollins was planning on doing. He was going to fool Orton like Orton fooled him. Seth's going to make Orton think that the Authority is going to be not on his side by having all these arguments with the Authority. But then, as I was right on this one, it was a setup. Rollins did fool Randy Orton. The Authority was by his side to come out for his match. You know, all those arguments were just to set up Orton, hook, line, and sucker. But as all 6 guys, we had Big Show out there, Kane out there, Triple H, JJ Security, Stephanie, and Rollins. All these 7 guys were out there. And there was rumors all day that Sting was in Des Moines, Iowa. There was rumors Sting was in the city, that Sting was going to make an appearance. Hey, we're 2 weeks before Mania, so I think Sting should at least make an appearance during the last 2 Raws before Mania, especially next week. Lesnar is. He's supposed to have a one-on-one face-off with Roman Reigns next week. Even if we got to see Bill Simmons and Snoop Dogg make a cameo or two. So as the 7-on-1 attack was going to unveil, with Orton with a steel chair as an equalizer. Sting's music hit, lights went out, crowd went nuts. Lights went back on. Here is Sting, baseball bat in hand, and bam! The brawl was on with Orton and Sting with weapons in hand, taking out the Authority one by one, with Triple H watching idly by. As JJ Security was set up for a Stinger Splash, double Stinger Splash in the corner, leading the Scorpion Death Drop on Jamie Noble, and the RKO on Joey Mercury, with Rollins and Big Show running away. And Triple H was just livid on the outside. He took his jacket off, wanting a piece of Sting, after Sting kind of ruined his perfect plan to take out Orton tonight. And I expected that too. I was like, Sting may come out during the segment. Once I saw the Authority all together after the game plan came together to fool Orton, I was like, Sting's coming out during this segment. If Sting is there, even Hood, we want Sting chance. And he was there. He was in Des Moines, and he was at Raw tonight. As he teamed up with Orton to take down the Authority tonight. So it was a very fun ending. We finally get to see Sting on Raw for the first time since the Raw before the Royal Rumble. We've seen that vignette last week. They didn't deepen his voice or what, but he kind of redeemed that by appearing on Raw tonight. We also saw a Bray Wyatt segment, another great Bray Wyatt promo about him and Taker with another urn, but it was a red urn with dust coming out of it because of intricacy segment. And also we got a new inductee to the Hall of Fame tonight. Now, there's rumors that Kevin Nash is going to go in. That may be announced next week. But last week during Raw in Pittsburgh, I'm surprised that they didn't name Larry Zbyszko. That's been another rumored name for the Hall of Fame is Larry Zbyszko. Surprised they didn't announce it last week because he's from Pittsburgh. But this week they officially announced that Larry Zbyszko will join Arnold Schwarzenegger, Medusa, the Bushwhackers, Rikishi, and Macho Man Randy Savage in the class of 2015 Hall of Fame, which will air live on the WWE Network for $9.99 along with WrestleMania today like they did last year. That's kind of cool to hear the Hall of Fame live on the network again. Because the only way you can actually watch the whole Hall of Fame ceremony without watching the 1-hour ceremony special on the USA Network was on the WWE WrestleMania DVD. So now the network's airing it live again for the second year in a row. It's great. Make fun of the network all you want. It is a hell of a deal. They promote it a lot. They hype it a lot. But still, I like WWE Network. I wore a 999 shirt a lot. Make fun of me all you want. Hey. Anyway. Decent one tonight. Decent segments. Especially with the last segment of Sting coming out. So there you go. With that, my Raw review for the night. Thank you all very much for watching. With that in mind, y'all have been attacked by the review from Zach. Thank you very much. See you all later. Good night. Yeah.